Yo, let's talk about the festival I just vended at, and also let's talk about my wins and my losses.
Fat Man Scoop, Brooklyn Clan. What's up, y'all? This is Fat Man Scoop. And right now, you watching the sensei, the number one, the king, my dude, Big Brando. He taught me, personally, me, Fat Man Scoop. All you gotta do is keep your mouth closed and your ears open. Listen to the man talk. That's knowledge personified right there, and I wouldn't trust nobody else but my dude, Big Brando. And I said it. Fat Man Scoop, Big Brando! Let's go!
Satin everybody, boy Big Brando, and today we're going to talk about the Hawaiian festival that I just vended at. More importantly, we're going to talk about some of the mistakes I made, but also let's talk about some of the successes. Now, as most of you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, I've been promoting this Hawaiian festival for a little while now. It went down a few weeks ago, and if you watch my Instagram reels, you'll know that I was showing all the shirts that I was printing, all the hats that I was stitching up, all in preparation for this event. I also went live a few times and did some live streams while I was stitching hats, while I was pressing shirts and folding shirts and talking about the preparation before this event. Now, a little backstory. This event happens every single year. The third weekend in July, it goes down in Lawndale, California at Alondra Park. I've been attending this festival since I was a young kid. I've been vending at this festival for well over 12, 13, 15 years, something like that. I can't even call it. But this is one of the biggest Hawaiian festivals that goes down in Southern California. Over 150 plus vendors, there's food booths, there's games, there's live entertainment. It's a good time. Now let's just try to do a small little recap. So like I said, this is a weekend long event, Saturday and Sunday. Setup day is Friday. So my setup time was 3:30 on Friday. The space that I have is two 10 by 10 spaces. So retail space, I have a 10 by 20 booth. On the back side of my booth, I have like maybe another 15 feet for storage and people to hang out and stuff like that. But actual retail space is 10 by 20. So I load everything up into my truck. I head down to the park at 3:30 and we get to setting up. Now, my setup consists of two tents, two 10 by 10 tents made by Z Shade, letter Z Shade. The ones I use are the ones that have the canvas top. I don't use the ones that have that thin nylon material top. Those ones to me don't seem like they last as long as the canvas tops. Also, they're straight legged, not square legs. They're the ones that I think they're called octagon legs. They're the ones that have the rounded corners. Those slide easy up and down and to me work the best. Now also the ones that I use, they're white on top, but they have Velcro on the inside. I'll get a little bit more into why that Velcro is important to myself, but those are the ones that I use. They're made by Z Shade. They're straight leg, not square tube. They're the ones that are, I guess, round tube or octagon size tube, or they just have the rounded corners. You can find them at like Big Five or sporting goods stores. I also think Sam's Club and Costco sell something similar to this. These tents are the same ones that like food vendors use. A lot of times you'll see them at swap meets and flea markets. They're not the ones that have the legs that kind of bend out. They're straight leg up and down. That way, if you're using multiple tents, you could butt them up, you know, side by side or back to back, or you could do like 4 all the way around. That's what I use them for. Now, also, I bring 4 6-foot tables. The 6-foot tables that I use are the ones that fold in half. The reason I use these is just for transportation. I drive a Toyota Tacoma. My bed is only a 5-foot bed. So if I were to bring 6-foot tables, they'd be hanging off the bed. So for transportation purposes only, I bring the foldable tables. So I have 4 6-foot tables. I have 1 4-foot table. I bring a plastic shelving unit that you could buy at, I don't know, Lowe's or Home Depot. The ones that have like the round tubes, and then you just stick the legs in and then put the shelf on top, stick the legs in, put the shelves on top. I think it goes up maybe 5 or 6 feet high. I bring that for storage. And then I bring about 6 to 7 grid walls. You guys seen the little grid walls. You can find those on Amazon. You could also find them wherever they sell mannequins. And that's basically the setup. So like I said, Friday, set everything up, get it going. Setup day is always a fun day for myself because it's like a miniature party, right? I always bring a cooler. I got a bunch of beer in there. As we're setting up, you're meeting your neighbors, you're hanging out, everybody's pumped up for the weekend. It's a good time. Now, after everything is set up, what you have to do is put walls up. So you have to enclose your whole booth because your merchandise is inside there. Now, this is at a park, but also there's security here. It's always a good tip to be friends with the security. That way they take extra special care of your booth, but outside of that, it's all about just good vibes. So this is where the Velcro on the inside comes into play because the walls that I'm hanging up have Velcro on the top. So then I just slap the Velcro on and then I attach attach the sides to the legs. It's just way faster, way more efficient for myself to operate this way. Now, if your Z-shade or your tent doesn't come with walls, you can always buy them on Amazon also. You just look up 10 by 10 tent walls, and there's a bunch of different options. There's the ones that have the little hook and loop that go over the little scissor parts of the tent, or the ones with Velcro, or there's ones where you have to use clamps on the sides and the tops. Whatever works best for you. For me, the Velcro on the inside makes me that much faster and way more efficient when I'm sealing it up and closing the tent off, and when I'm breaking it all down to open up for business. So after I seal the tent up, we drink all the beers, we go home. Next day is Saturday. First day of the event. I get there early. I think doors open for the event at 9 in the morning. I get there around 7:30, take off all the walls and get everything situated. Get my displays right, hang up all the hats and all the shirts and all that good stuff to make it look as visually appealing to the customer as possible. That's my main goal when I do this. Now, every year I share this booth with my homie from Local Roots. So Local Dave is the homie that I share the booth with. We do the same exact things. We sell t-shirts and hats, and our build out for this booth is similar to what we did last year. It's what worked best for us, where it was very welcoming and engaging to the customers to walk in. It flowed really well. So once we got all the hats set up, all the t-shirts hung up on the grid walls, displays look right, we're open for business. Now, Saturday was booming. Saturday was very, very crowded. The entertainment that was supplied on Saturday brings a different crowd than the Sunday crowd, but Saturday came up and they showed out. The cool thing about it is this is Southern California, so the weather was warm. It was about a good 80, 85 degrees at the park. Our booth was set up underneath the trees. We also had the two 10 by 10 tents. So we had a lot of breeze and a lot of shade for the people. So this helped drive the sales, because as people are walking by, dying in the heat, they step into the booth to catch a little breather, get a little bit of shade, and also have a chance to look at some of our stuff, and that's what helped with sales also. Let's get into mistake number one for myself, and this was probably my biggest mistake for the whole weekend. Whenever I bring my merchandise out to these events, right? You're pre-pressing everything, you're stitching hats, you're doing all this stuff. It's a guessing game, right? So you're risking a lot of what you think is going to be going down at this event based on how you prepare for it. So for myself, I've vended at this event for years. So I know extra large XXX and 3X are big deals at this event, right? Polynesians and Hawaiians, Samoans, everybody is a little bit bigger. So extra large XXX, 3X always work for me. So I always go hard on those sizes. Small, medium, large, not so much. In past years, rarely have I sold a lot of those. This year was a lot different. I didn't go that hard on size large. I maybe brought like a dozen and a half of each design. So maybe let's say like 18 to 20 of size larges in every design and every colorway that I brought. T-shirts, tank tops, all the different colors, all the different designs. That's what I brought, was about 18 to 20 of each of those. On Saturday, I sold out of tank tops. And on Saturday, I sold out of one of my most popular shirts that I brought out this year. The larges went fast on Saturday, which left me in a bind because Sunday I didn't have a lot of the larges. So that was mistake number one, was my guess was way off. I should have went a little bit harder on the size larges. Extra large, XXX, and XXX did very well, but I really dropped the ball on the size large. So maybe next year I'll do large, extra large, XXX, XXX, and go heavy on those sizes. Small and medium, same thing, go small and light on those. So like I said, Saturday, tank tops are moving in every size that I brought out. And this was the design that I brought out this year. Give aloha, get aloha. If you could see inside the text, you have some Polynesian patterns inside the text. This is the front of the shirt, left chest print. This is the back. Everything I did this year was on All Style or American Apparel t-shirts. They were all 1301s. A lot of it was leftover stock that I've already had. Some of it was stuff that I replenished just for the event. But that was a new design that I brought out that was very popular and it worked out. But like I said, size large t-shirts and tank tops went fast the very first day. Saturday sold out, which is cool. So I guess that falls into what one of the successes was this design did very well on t-shirts and tank tops. I did white tank tops with black print and a brown inlay. This one was the black. I did t-shirts and tank tops in black, white print with the brown inlay. Very good, very satisfied, very happy with the design and how it performed at this event. Now, the next thing that really moved and I kind of anticipated it was going to do good was this hat right here. Hawaiian Islands, stitched Black hat, brown 3D puff stitching. This hat did very, very well. Now, as you can see, there is some sort of a color theme going on here. We went really hard on black and brown, a lot of brown text, a lot of brown stitching, and it was good because it set us apart from what every other vendor over there was doing. Everybody was doing black and white, blue and white, red and white. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we did was we went hard on the browns and the tans. Strategically speaking, a lot of the Polynesian motorcycle clubs and car clubs that are here in Southern California or in California in general, colors are brown. These events and festivals bring out a lot of those people. I'm friends with a lot of those people, so I understand what they're looking for. So that's why we went hard on black and brown, tan and brown, white and brown, and it worked in our favor, right? Strategically speaking, we're bringing what's gonna be an easy sell for us. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're trying to bring stuff that the people will want and what the people will gravitate towards. So if every other booth is doing black and white, red and white, blue and white stuff, now you have a breath of fresh air when you walk past our booth and you see a lot of brown in this booth. Like I said, this ultimately worked in our favor. Now, the last two t-shirts that did really good was this tan Island Made t-shirt. Black text, black stroke, brown inlay, same thing, Polynesian patterns on the inside. It says Island Made, and we also did it in black. This one I ran last year and it was very successful, so I brought it back again and it did very well again this year. White stroke, white text, brown inlay on a black t-shirt. Like I said, these are all Style 1301 t-shirts. Those were my successes. Sold out in a lot of those. Tank tops sold out in almost every tank top that I brought, every single size that I brought, which was cool. There's a few other booths selling tank tops, not a lot of them, so that helped for us. Last year I brought no tank tops because I couldn't find them, and everybody coming in was asking about it. So I listened to the people and I brought it this time, and this year I went hard on the tank tops and we sold out in mostly everything that I brought as a tank top, which is solid in my opinion. Now let's get into Sunday. Sunday, I have no size large tank tops left in any of the designs. No, I take that back. I did this shirt on a white tank top with black text. I had a few left in a size large, and that was it. T-shirts, I was very slim on size large in certain designs. Everything else I was doing pretty good at. Sunday rolls around and it brings a different crowd, but Sunday was even more crowded than Saturday was. Packed, the booth was booming. Another hot day, Southern California, where to be honest, I didn't even wear a shirt most of Sunday because of how hot it was. Now on top of that, like I said, it brings a different crowd. Not too many people coming in looking for larges. There were still a few people, but I'm glad I sold out on Saturday because Sunday, not a lot of people were looking for size large, and it just worked out that way. But this is the day that the extra large double X's and 3X were booming. 3X I sold out in tank tops and all of the t-shirts that I brought in triple X. I think I came back with 2 or 3 t-shirts. Tank tops were all gone. Double X, tank tops, t-shirts all gone. A lot of this happened before lunch even started. So as the day went on, the crowds got even bigger and bigger, like right after like 12:30 up until closing around 5 o'clock, the crowds were deep, like the booth was just booming. But a lot of the shoppers came early and wiped me out of 3X, 2X tank tops. So when this happens, obviously I'm always like, hey, you know what? I'll have it online. Here's my business card. My business card looks like $1. You guys all seen it before. I was giving those things out. What I didn't do was I didn't bring enough business cards. I thought I had a lot more than what I really did, but by the time the event was over, I was all out of business cards. That was mistake number 2 for myself, was I didn't bring in enough business cards. I thought I had a lot, but obviously was giving out so many, I ran out. So it was to the point where I'm like telling people pull up the Instagram. I'm like writing it down. I had some stickers, but not a lot of stickers left. So a lot of the stuff of the takeaways and giveaways and stuff like that, I was very underprepared for. So that was my next mistake. And it wasn't that big of a deal, but at the same time, I like for people to leave with something, whether they're buying something or maybe I don't have their size at the event. I'd rather them leave with something that says, hey, shop with me online or follow me here, stuff like that. Now, the other mistake that I made was payment options. There's a lot of people now that use Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, and stuff like that. I didn't have my QR code set up and I wasn't prepared for that. I used the card reader that comes with the Shopify store. Shopify has a really good card reader that's a tap and it's a chip and it's a swipe. It's Bluetooth, really cool thing. But I wasn't prepared for the Zelle another thing. One, I don't really use that too much. You know what I mean? Like if I do use Venmo, it's only between me and the homies. If I'm paying somebody back or if they're paying me back, stuff like that. But I don't really use it for business, and that's where I messed up. Maybe I should incorporate this into my business because more people are using it now. I noticed that a lot of booths had their QR codes on there, and I was like, man, it wasn't that much of a missed opportunity because the people that wanted to pay ended up just paying with the card, but I could have made it way easier if I did have Zelle and Venmo and all that good stuff set up. But like I said, I only use that stuff for personal. I don't really use it for my business, but next year that is something that I will incorporate into the business. So what's very good to know when you vend and when you're working festivals is always keep a mental note or write it down on just lessons learned. What's working, what's not working, what designs are working, what designs aren't working. What did I forget, or what was I constantly looking for that I didn't have on hand? This is how you formulate a better list for the next time that you vend. And for me, that's all it is. Every time I vend, I'm also learning at the same time how to be more efficient, how to tweak the booth a little bit better. Like next year, my booth build out will be way different. Me and the homie Dave were talking about it, and we have a pretty good idea on what we want to do next year. That's going to kind of set us apart from everybody else. So now we have a whole year to prep and really work this thing out so we could build something out that's really cool. But like I said, it's just lessons learned. Those lessons learned is bring more business cards, bump up my size larges and everything that I bring. Don't underestimate the size large, guys. And make sure all my payment options work with the people, right? Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, Cash App, all that good stuff. Get all those QR codes printed out, make sure they're ready so people can pay easier that way. Like I said, this year wasn't a deal breaker for a lot of people. I didn't lose any sales because I didn't have those options, but I know people were ready for that, and then they ended up pulling out the card because they still wanted to purchase the items. And I don't claim to know everything about this stuff, and I don't claim to be a professional at all of this stuff. I'm learning just like you guys. I make mistakes just like you guys. Just because I make YouTube videos about this stuff doesn't mean I have everything figured out. For myself, like I said, I failed on bringing enough larges to fulfill everybody. I would have made way more money if I had more larges, but it is what it is. I didn't prepare all the way for my business cards and stickers and takeaways and stuff like that. And I messed up on my payment options. You know what I mean? Shit happens. That's just how the thing works. Like I said, I'm always constantly learning. I read a lot of comments. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of people on how they vend and how they build their booths out, how they store their stuff, all of that. So if you are getting ready to do your first event, or you're already doing festivals and you're vending out at different events, I hope you guys are doing the same thing by keeping a running list or maybe notes in your phone or something just to tell you what's working and what's not working. That's something that I do. I started doing that maybe about 7 to 8 years ago. I thought I had it all figured out, and every year I've noticed like, man, I need to bring more of this, or it'd be better if I did this. Then I said, man, I just need to start making a list. And now every year as the event's going on, whenever I get a little break, I'll put it in my notes real quick on my phone. This is working, this is not working. Bring more larges next year. This design did good. Our color choices were good. This is what some of the competition is bringing. This is what some of the other vendors are selling. It's always things like that that's gonna help you sharpen your stuff for the next year and moving forward, all right? If you got any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments. If you wanted to see the recap video of how the booth went from the setup, what it looked like to what the crowds look like and all that good stuff, follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Got it on there. If you got any questions, leave it in the comments for me. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.